my socks for $40?
Please.
Yeah?
I was just going to ask you.
Sure.
Can we do it again?
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 310. It is the third day of the week, aka the Spirit Bomb workout. I am feeling great and fantastic. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today. Sex sells, but who's buying? Part 2. Today we'll be looking at the who's buying part. Because that one's easy. I wanted to do this entire video. I was going to only do one part, but I definitely needed to do this. The reason why I needed to do the first part is so that way the second part would make sense, which is the who's buying. And that is a lot of people. There are a lot of people, depending on a lot of stuff, honestly. But mostly dudes. But we'll talk about that and get into more details when we get into the basement. But for now, I'll say this. It is a lucrative market. Unfortunately, like I've said in the previous episode right here, it works, unfortunately, and it works very well, particularly for certain people, desperate people, those who are looking for the quote-unquote high that a sexual thing would bring them, whether or not it even involves them. I just need to show the example of like a GoDaddy commercial from back in the day, or Carl's Jr., which is a fucking fast food joint. They just understood hot women sell things, so inherently, but who's buying is the real question. And then I think that's the main question of it. And I think looking into who are the target demographics, why are they the target demographics, and how do they get entrapped in such of these types of things is very interesting to see. I will be probably calling people out, but I will also be calling myself out, not because I have one that's partaking in purchasing of these types of things, but at the same time, it is something that I know is targeted towards people like me. So it is something where I understand the idea of getting vultured into something like that. It's not like I can easily avoid it, because it's literally pervasive in everything, no matter where you are. So it is something that I can understand and realize, oh, I'm being sold immediately. Obviously, depending on a few circumstances, you can take it or leave it, but understanding that whether or not it is getting you is the hard part, right? You can understand, hey, is this trying to sell me something? And what that something is a lot of what you have to really think about, right? So with that being said, though, we'll take a look at all that and a few other things when we get to Mother Base.
First, I started this day off with AD press, which is pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Sex sells, but who's buying? Part 2. Who's buying? So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is to finish off this little bit of a series that ended up becoming a series in a way. I wanted to discuss who's buying, because this is probably one of the bigger issues in the two-part conundrum. Because, of course, companies will use, or people in general, will use sex as a way to sell things. But, of course, without there being buyers, it wouldn't work. But unfortunately, there are a fuck ton. And this isn't even just like me trying to shame others, because it has worked. It works on me sometimes. It occasionally works. It's not like I'm absolvent of it. But the thing is, it's literally trying to figure out why they are selling what they are selling, for what reason, why they are using this person to sell what, and looking at it in that terminology and trying to figure it out, basically. Of course, most of the time it's relatively easy to suss out why they're selling it. It's usually themselves or some service or some random thing that has nothing to do with them, but they're going to use their sexuality in order to sell the thing. But it's mostly just aimed towards a certain demographic of people, aka men, really. It can happen the other way, which is kind of rare, but it does happen. It is something that is very capable. See that one guy who is famous on TikTok for doing axe like handling or chopping wood in the middle of the woods. That guy is literally the thirst trap for women, basically. Or see any man doing anything with their hands. But to talk more from the other side, since I'm there, you can see it being targeted for a certain level of person, like the desperate man, really, the man who would like some communication, the association of the possibility of the bang with the woman that is being sold, really, or selling something. And I think it's very interesting. You can also see it very prevalent with younger people. That's the big target, where younger people will try to get the young people with these things, so then that way they are trapped forever, young men in particular. And these sexual urges are very prevalent when they're younger, and thus making the feeling that these sensations give them even stronger. It makes it a stronger connection to whatever the product they are selling. Now, of course, if the product is the person themselves, then obviously that goes into another rabbit hole of the pornography realm. But that is kind of a different story for a different day. I think that this is just more of a who is it gearing towards. And I think there is a certain level of man that is susceptible to this. Maybe not the common man, but even then the common man can be susceptible to it. It's really just whatever lizard brain thing that they can decide you are appealed to, they can take advantage of it. Whether it be the muscle mommy, the goth mommy, the tomboy, the regular beach blonde bimbo, the studious librarian brunette, the curly-haired redhead adventurer. All of these things that could just sell you something, and they just kind of have to guesstimate which one is going to peak the neuron activation for you, and then thus be like, immediately buy whatever I'm selling. Immediately. Don't even question it. Usually the people that are selling are usually attractive in some way, shape, or form, but that overt attraction is over whomever the person is. So, for example, in the previous video, I used Sydney Sweeney as the intro for the video, who is generally speaking an attractive woman. But at the same time, it's not attractive for everybody. But also at the same time, there is enough of a consensus on what is the standards of beauty with it when it comes to women, that most people can agree that she's pretty good looking, at least. There's you are bound to hit the majority of people with that. But mostly you're bound to hit the majority of men, because at the same time, men are the target audience for a lot of this type of stuff. And if you see that, hey, you just associate, hey, maybe I got a chance if I buy this thing. Maybe I'll see a person that looks like her at the store while I'm buying whatever the hell it is, or a good pair of jeans that will fit very well. And even to put it on me as well, to reiterate again, I've been gotten by things. It's not like this isn't something that hasn't happened to me. Algorithms happen to know who you are very well, so thus they will throw things that would appeal to my neuron activation centers more than anything else. I think that most algorithms at least have an idea of what those things are, and will throw them at you as much as they can. So then that way you have the option to choose to whether or not to consume it or not, but also more likely than not, you're going to consume it because they know it appeals to you. When looking at the psychology of the person who would be associating with this, I think it's more of a issue, I guess, with the loneliness or the ideal that the selling might appeal to the person. So the idea of an interaction, the idea of a personability, the idea that this product will be the next thing that gets them, whatever it is. There is a certain level of almost, I want to say like naivete that happens because the possibility of the sex or the neuron activation turns off something in the brain that makes it so that the processing power of what is actually being sold kind of turns off, and then the person looks at it and stops understanding and starts just doing the basic brain things. So it is very effective. For some people, it is very, very, very effective. They will not listen to anything. They will literally go monkey mode. Buy now, please. Or other way where it will, for some reason, turn them completely the other way around, where they're like, what are you selling me? Why are you doing this? And obviously you'd probably want to go with the other way, because obviously you want to save yourself from it. You don't want to dumb yourself down to the level that you're just like, here, credit card now. which is not a good place to be in for a lot of people, as you can be taken advantage of. You can be sold literally anything if there's a nice, pretty face in front of it. So you have to be careful about becoming that dumbed down version of yourself, which companies know is very easy to manipulate and get out of a lot of people. They just got to turn a few dials, and then all of a sudden they got somebody to appeal to you.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Sex sells, but who's buying? Part 2. So the main reason why I wanted to even talk about this was just because I started this week talking about chastity and how hard it is to do it in this modern day and age because of how we know, and people who can take advantage of people know, that sex really does sell, and it really does hook a lot of people in. Hook, line, and sinker. I can't even say I've not been a victim of it as well. I know for a fact it's happened because it is so pervasive and it's so easy. There are certain things that will help get you just kind of snapped up into that realm, and thus you're just giving out money. Or it doesn't have to be a necessary sexual end to it, because it is so powerful that you might just associate one thing with the other. I mean, that's why they get people to do things like, I keep using this example throughout these 2 parts, but like something like GoDaddy, which was a fucking web hosting service. Web hosting, what the fuck does that have to do with hot women? Carl's Jr. was a restaurant. It was a fast food joint. A fast food joint was using hot women to advertise. Now, not nearly as much as there used to be, but now it's kind of even worse, because now the hot women just are selling themselves. And that's a whole other subject matter, but the essence of it all is all the same. These platforms end up becoming just giant billboards for their OnlyFans and or other streamlines of revenue, where they're going to get people to see them or see the rest of whatever they're doing. So it's almost gotten worse in a sense where now they are the product. And I don't know if the connection has gotten there yet with those people, but like I said, that's another subject matter. But for this, it works so well. And that's the crazy part. It works so well, and you have to be aware of it, because if you're not aware of it, you are going to get trapped. And you've most likely gotten trapped before. And it's realizing what traps you is the hardest part, and then making sure to continuously remember that, and making sure that you're listening to this and not that, because that will get this in trouble after a certain point. So that is something to think about, and I think that is not necessarily a message for just men, but what is it? Not just men, but everybody, really. And understanding that if you are going to try to be sold with or selling with sex, think about what you are selling, really, because at the end of the day, at this point, you're just selling you're just selling yourself, and that's a pretty tough pill to swallow for some people. Eventually, they'll understand the plights of the flesh. But anyways, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one was more of a random one, but still a good one nonetheless. I like talking about these types of things. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching again. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace!